emphasis on this. And as somebody who grew up in the 50s and 60s, when, as I did, when society actually appeared to be changing very fast and for the better, it seems inconceivable that we still have a problem of male violence, misogyny and sexism towards women and girls, that a man can grope a woman's breast and think she ought to be flattered, or a girl can be raped and not feel able to tell anyone. This is horrific, and clearly we need to do something about it. We're not doing enough. The solutions to the problem within our society involve addressing the imbalances of power, including economic and social power, that can leave individuals vulnerable to domestic abuse. And of course, domestic abuse is one of those gateway crimes to much, much worse crimes, including murder. So I am going to talk about solutions which are hard but absolutely vital. We need relationship education to inculcate values of respect for others and respect for difference, and these must be provided in schools and other appropriate environments. But there must also be programmes provided to train all frontline staff dealing with the public, including housing officers, police, workers in the health services, and particularly maternity services and other relevant areas, to recognise signs of abuse and to be able to provide pathways of escape for the people, the survivors and the victims. And this is not only to help the people who are suffering from this, but it's also to educate the people involved, because we can start with schools, but we have to go through the whole of society. Multi-agency working is essential to identify the full extent of domestic abuse and improve prevention or early intervention. Crime reduction partnerships must take a lead in coordinating information from refuges, NHS, police, children's services, adult services, social housing, schools, voluntary organisations and any other appropriate local body who may have information about individuals and families at risk. And access to counselling has to be increased for all those affected by domestic abuse, the survivors, the witnesses and the perpetrators, because this is the most effective way of reducing reoffending and breaking cycles of offending within family and neighbourhood networks. Because, of course, children within families can also be at risk of not just physical abuse, but also witnessing such abuse can have long-term psychological damage. And afterwards, of course, survivors should be helped to remain in their own homes with the provision of all necessary safety measures, including alarms, improved locks and grills, extra police patrols, neighbourhood watch schemes, and so on. And where this isn't possible, appropriate immediate refuge and future housing must be available for all victims escaping domestic abuse. And of course, all of these provisions have to be publicly funded with permanent guaranteed funding. I would like to say in closing, before the Noble Lord the Minister replies to this debate, I'd like to ask him, I'm sure he won't, but ask him not to make any reference to what women and girls can do to protect themselves, because this is a male problem. We must focus on what the majority of non-sexist men can do to stop the minority of violent, misogynist men.
My Lords, with respect to my noble friend, Baroness Jacob